came with a quiet promise. You gave a company your time, and in return, you got peace of mind. One normal job meant your bills were covered, your future was predictable, and your weekends were actually yours. Today, that promise has evaporated. Millions of Americans are clocking out of their day jobs only to immediately log in somewhere else. They are actively hunting for secondary revenue streams just to keep their heads above water. The roads are packed with late-night rideshare drivers. Living rooms double as freelance hubs. Laptops stay open late for e-commerce, crypto trading, and digital businesses. The scale of this shift suggests a permanent restructuring of the American workforce. For millions, the math of a single salary no longer provides a path forward. On the surface, and especially on social media, this looks like a golden age of ambition. It is constantly branded as hustle, grit, and the democratization of entrepreneurship. But look closer at the people actually doing the work. They aren't burning the midnight oil to build empires. They are ordinary people giving up their nights and weekends, trying to escape the exhausting cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. Which forces us to ask a difficult question. What if this cultural obsession with grinding for extra cash isn't actually about ambition at all? It's an illusion that has shattered. This unprecedented spike in second jobs is a glaring macroeconomic warning sign. It reveals that the working class has completely lost faith in the ability of a primary salary to sustain a basic standard of living. What society praises as a relentless drive is for millions of workers simply a desperate systemic mechanism for survival. This chart maps out the underlying math. For years, base wage growth flatlined, creating a rigid ceiling on earning power. But basic necessities did not stay flat. As inflation set in, the expense line violently breaks away, forcefully eroding the value of every dollar. You see it every week. A standard run for household groceries, the inescapable mundane goods required to run a home, eats up a vastly larger percentage of take-home pay than it did a decade ago. Then factor in shelter. Housing and rent costs have exploded, instantly consuming whatever disposable income might have survived the grocery store. Add in the escalating premiums for insurance and the towering out-of-pocket costs of the healthcare system, and the financial burden mounts. When the lines diverge this sharply, a single salary fails to cover the basic costs of existence. Secondary income has become the required tool to bridge that widening gap. This economic pressure is accompanied by a change in how people view their employers. Corporate loyalty has been replaced by a pervasive sense of insecurity. Workers are watching sudden, sweeping layoffs hit major companies, while financial reports continuously warn of looming recession pressures. And right behind those economic threats is a massive wave of technological disruption. The reality of artificial intelligence replacing traditional jobs means decades of careful career building can be swept away in an instant. Because a single corporation can no longer guarantee long-term stability, a side hustle serves as an essential defensive insurance policy against total unpredictability. Social media acts as an accelerant to this fear, making the multi-income lifestyle feel entirely normal and expected. Open any app and you are hit with a relentless digital barrage of creators pushing crypto trading, dropshipping, and AI automation. They aggressively promise that financial freedom is easy and accessible to anyone. But this constant exposure to curated luxury lifestyles has a damaging side effect. It makes ordinary, hardworking people feel acutely and painfully behind financially. This creates a dark, exhausting dynamic. Productivity itself became a twisted status symbol, to the point where people actually feel guilty for simply sitting down to relax. Hustle culture has psychologically trapped the modern worker. It drives severe burnout and anxiety by forcing people to endlessly grind in an economy where they feel they cannot afford to rest. Financial and banking analysts expect the side hustle economy to expand well into the next decade. Their projections suggest a long-term integration of gig work into the mainstream economy. As digital platforms continuously lower the barrier to entry for online work, this fragmented gig economy is cementing itself permanently into society. Major corporations are rapidly adapting their business models to rely heavily on AI and digital finance. The centralized job fractures, replaced by a hyper-fragmented, contract-based labor market. These expert projections confirm a harsh reality. The traditional single-salary household is officially a relic of the past. A second income is now a prerequisite for stability. The side hustles that once offered a path to wealth are now being used simply to meet the rising costs of living. People are no longer sacrificing their free time to build sprawling empires. They are walking an impossibly steep path just to feel a fleeting sense of secure ground. This leads to a specific tension. Does side hustle culture actually offer a path to freedom? Or is it the only tactic we have left to survive an increasingly ruthless, expensive world? The modern dream has shifted. It is no longer about getting ahead. It's merely fighting, day after day, just to avoid falling behind.